everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Tuesday, guys. It is a gloomy Tuesday here in Austin, Texas, but there is still sun shining inside this house because we're here to talk Super Bowl trailers. That's right. I hope you all enjoyed the game on Sunday. I know I did. Given the fact that I loathe Tom Brady and the Patriots and think of them as the evil empire, I am glad to see them go down just like at the end of Return of the Jedi, and I am psyched that we got some awesome trailers while that happened. So I'm going to run down them today. You guys fire back on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know what you think. And of course, we all know the first one I'm going to start with, which is Solo, a Star Wars story. Lucasfilm released the first trailer for the film that comes out in 3 months. Solo is set to come out on May 25th. Alden Ehrenreich is starring as Han Solo. You also got Donald Glover as Lando, as well as Woody Harrelson and Emilia Clarke in there as well. A lot of good cast going on with there. Directed by Ron Howard. This is our first look at Han Solo, or Solo, a Star Wars story. Fans have been clamoring for a month for this trailer because it's a big budget film. And most films like this usually release the first trailer about 6 months to 5 months. January was a month where everyone was expecting a Solo trailer. It's right around the time it should have been happening. Even fans who were like, don't worry, it's coming, don't worry, they were starting to get a little nervous too. Some thought that Lucasfilm might actually push it back to December, much like the other Star Wars films have been in December. They thought they might push it back from summer to winter. Looks like that's not the case. They're still planning on releasing the film in May. And this is our first look at it, guys. So, I'm going to run down the trailer, really kind of let you know what I think about what's going on in the trailer. And, of course, again, like I said, you guys fire back. Tell me if you think I'm right or wrong, or if you think I'm just a crazy person for going through it so detailed. So, starting off with the trailer, you got the Lucasfilm logo with a bunch of buttons. And you can tell it's a rhythm. You know, it's kind of like that rock rhythm, which lets you know Han Solo being kind of a wild character. You get that kind of like rock intro, which I understand. He's in the car with Emilia Clarke's character being chased down by who knows who. I'm trying to remember what Emilia Clarke's character's name is in this. Kira. I want to say that's Kira. If I remember my She-Ra right, I'm going to say it's going to be Kira is how you pronounce it. But in any event, they're being chased down. Looks like she's having a good time, interested in Solo. So whether she's going to be the love interest for Han Solo in this one, we'll wait and see. Now, I did forget to mention that I am running down the Solo trailer that premiered Monday morning, not the actual Super Bowl spot that teased the trailer. So if you haven't watched the actual trailer, go online right now. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere. And you can check that out. And, of course, again, follow along with me as I run it down. So, over this, we do have kind of the voiceover where Han Solo is talking about he did go to, like, the Imperial Academy, was going to be a part of the Empire, but he left or got kicked out because he said he had a mind of his own. Basically means he was probably a little rebellious, which makes sense. From everything we know of Han Solo, that's kind of the case. We see the shots here of the Millennium Falcon inside. That one shot I really like of him looking up at the Falcon. Now, the Millennium Falcon is supposed to be a very old ship. How old is it when we see Han Solo looking upon the Falcon? I don't know. But it looks like it still can, do what it does, being that it is the Falcon. And we also know that Han Solo won the Millennium Falcon from Lando. In this movie, we're supposed to see the first meeting or introduction of Han and Lando. I don't know if we get to that game. I'm hoping we'll see that game. It's my understanding that when Han says in Empire, hey, I wonder fair and square, I feel like Han might have tricked Lando in it. I'm just a thing. an old legend. It was a game of sabacc that he beat Lando in. Whether it's something different, I don't know, but that line in Empire, I always thought was a little fishy when Han was like, hey, you lost to be fair and square. I think Han swindled Lando out of it, and that's just my thoughts on it. By the way, guys, if I sound a little nasally, it's because I just got done watching the Super Bowl episode of This Is Us that premiered after the Super Bowl. And if you've seen that episode, you were probably like me, tearing up and almost crying the entire episode. So if that's why I sound a little stuffed up, that might be it. So I do apologize about that. Okay, introduction now to Woody Harrelson's character, who is Tobias in the movie. And it looks like he's going to be kind of the mastermind of it all. He's recruiting a team that includes Han and Chewie and Kira and Lando, and then someone else who is Thadia Newton. Now, we still don't have, let's see, IMDb. Yeah, it says her name is Val. Now, some people were thinking that she might actually be the character of Santa Solo, the character that's been in the comic books, that her and Han got married as part of a job they were pulling. And then she comes back after the events of New Hope and hunts down Solo, saying, I'm his wife. And it's, it's something that freaked Star Wars fans out, that Han Solo had a wife. Then we come to find out it was all part of a job they were pulling, or a heist they were pulling. But this feels like this is kind of a Ocean's 11 kind of thing. It's going to be a heist movie. Woody Harrelson's character is pulling everyone together to form and do a job. There's one character in here that looks like an alien. People are like, is that Maz? It's not Maz. Take a look at it. That is not Maz. Given the fact that Maz Kanata is thousands of years old, or at least hundreds, and these events probably take place, 40 years before the events of The Force Awakens. In the span of a life, a character like Maz Kanata does not look that different in 40 years. So just because it's an alien that looks similar to Maz Kanata does not mean it's Maz Kanata. The shot, though, right after that, I really like, where you have Solo's silhouette in like a den full of aliens. I feel it's kind of similar to the shot we get in A New Hope. And you see Han Solo and everyone else, the criminal underworld that Luke walks into, much like the cantina scene, pretty much is what I'm talking about. See our first look at Chewie, and from there, the trailer kind of takes off on adventure and shows us a little bit of the world we're going to be seeing, and kind of how Han Solo interacts in this world. The shots look really good. I'm very curious to get, like I said, with Emilia Clarke, what she's going to be. To me, I think she's just another swindler that maybe has been with Han for a little while, or maybe she just met him. I don't know. But there are several shots where she's dressed really nice, and I think, honestly, it's part of the heist. I don't think she's actually, like, anyone who's rich. I think she's dressed nice as part of the scam they're doing, and she's really a swindler, much like Han is. Then at the end, you get your logo, and you have the Millennium Falcon flying away from a bunch of TIE fighters. Han does that really cool move. I love how he flips and hits the TIE fighter, and then you have some kind of octopus-looking monster they're running away from. Okay, so let me break down kind of my thoughts on the important things in this trailer. First off, Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. He had two lines, really a couple lines, but there was two important lines. There was the one where Emilia Clarke's character was talking to him about, I know who you really are. He's like, who is that? He gives a little smirk. And at the end there, he kind of lifts away his face for a minute. I don't know if that's part of the movie or if it's something, a flaw in the acting, but that didn't sit right with me. Like, almost like they should have cut away right before he dropped his smirk, or if that's just, part of his vulnerability with the character. I'm pretty sure it's the second thing, but I don't know, something about didn't sit right with me. And the other one, of course, is at the end there when they're flying away and, he gives that cocky attitude, and I get it, that's Han Solo. So the question is, do we believe from this trailer Alden Ehrenreich is Han Solo? Honestly, I don't know right now. I need to get a bigger sample of what he is. And let's not forget that this is a young Han Solo. He's probably several years out from the actual character we meet in A New Hope, so he's not going to be the exact same person. I wasn't the same person I was several years ago, much like Luke wasn't the same person from Return of the Jedi to when we meet him in The Last Jedi. People change throughout their lives, so as long as there's a glimmer of him in there, I'm fine with it. Ehrenreich is a good actor. If he has good directing, which is done by Ron Howard, I think we'll be fine with. The second part I really want to talk about is Lando. Now, in the Super Bowl spot, we saw a shot of Lando with like a fur coat on. Everyone was talking about it. There's even a joke about that it was made of Ewok skin. Just really cool, you know. Everyone loved. That was probably their favorite shot from the Super Bowl trailer. We didn't actually get that shot in the actual trailer, which I thought was a little weird. Donald Glover, again, a good actor. I think he might steal the show in this one if he pulls off the character well enough to where people are going to be clamoring for a Lando movie after this. The question I thought last night was, I'm reviewing some Rebels episodes to get ready for the finale of Rebels coming up to start this month. And the first time we see Lando in Rebels is in Season 1. And that takes place a couple years before Rogue One and A New Hope. Same thing with Solo. So I really want to tweet like Pablo Hidalgo or Leland Chee or someone from the Lucasfilm story group about where does that line up? You know, like where, you know, he's part of a group, looks like in this trailer. What's the timeline between where he appears in Rebels and where he is in Solo? That's a question I feel like I really need to tweet someone on. You know, I read all the books, the comics. I'm a big canon junkie. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people don't care. But for me and for Lucasfilm, they should care. And I feel like they should give me an answer. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to tweet some people out. And hopefully they'll answer me back and give me an answer as to how this fits to where we see Lando in Rebels. But that's it, guys. So this is our first look at Han Solo, or Solo, a Star Wars story. I keep calling it Han Solo. This film has a lot of pressure on it. It switched directors. They fired Phil Lord and Chris Miller, brought in Ron Howard, friend of Lucasfilm, to kind of correct the ship. It said it's got a lot of major reshoots, and now we have the decisiveness or splitting the Star Wars fan base of The Last Jedi. A lot of people didn't want a Solo movie. I was looking forward to a Solo movie. I think Han Solo is a great character. I didn't need a Solo movie. It's got a lot going against it. From this trailer, I think it has a shot of doing what it needs to do, which is being a fun Star Wars film. Letting us play with a character we all like, letting us play in the Star Wars universe, seeing the world, seeing the characters. That's what it needs to do. It needs to get back to what people believe Star Wars is. Get us back to the Star Wars world. I like The Last Jedi. The more I watch it, the more I like it. It has flaws. I have several complaints about it. But overall, I like The Last Jedi. The Star Wars fan base is divided. And we need this film to bring us back together. We need it to be a safe and fun Star Wars story. And we need to believe that Alden Ehrenreich is Han Solo. If those things come together, I think it could heal some of the Star Wars fan base. The problem is, in fandom today, there's a lot of toxic stuff going around. And even if this film is good, people are still going to complain about it. And it's sad but true. But this film has a lot going against it. I'm going to go in, of course, with open eyes and try to judge it just as a film, much like I did The Last Jedi. I'll probably do double features back to back. One with my expectations and one without my expectations. And then, of course, you know, I'll do a full review. But just based off this trailer, it's okay. Was I blown away? No. But going back to the fun of the Star Wars world, which I think this is, I'm looking forward to it. I can't say I'm totally psyched for it, but I'm interested to see what it's going to be like. If everything comes together, if the director and the stars and the story and all of it come together, I think it could be something special. I wasn't looking forward to Rogue One, and while I don't think Rogue One is like phenomenal, I enjoyed it. I think it fits really well in the Star Wars universe, and I think Solo can do that too. I just hope all the problems and the criticisms and the pressure on this film don't hurt it. So there you go, guys. Go online, check out the Solo trailer if you haven't already. Fire back, let me know what you think. Okay, so I'm already at my limit for the day talking about Solo. I knew that was going to happen, but I got that out of the way. So instead of going over the other trailers, I'm going to save that for a day or so whenever I do my next episode, and I'm just going to talk briefly about the Cloverfield Paradox. Everyone knew there was another Cloverfield movie coming. What we didn't know is that within hours of premiering the first trailer on the Super Bowl, they were going to release it on Netflix. Caught totally by surprise, much like last year you had Cloverfield Lane, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, Cloverfield Lane, and it released the first trailer just weeks before the film came out in theaters. The film is directed by Julius Onah. I'm not sure. I've never heard of him. I'm looking at his IMDb page right now, and he hasn't really directed anything that I've heard of. But after I saw the trailer, I didn't watch it immediately after the Super Bowl like a lot of people did, but I watched it last night, and I was coming in and out of it a little bit. I was a little tired, but then I finished it this morning. So I have watched Cloverfield Paradox. What I like about this kind of franchise is that each film so far has been very different from the last. Cloverfield, Cloverfield Lane, Cloverfield Paradox, they're each different. This is a hardcore sci-fi film, whereas the Cloverfield Lane was more of a suspense horror vibe almost, and then you have Cloverfield, which is more of a monster Godzilla movie. This one's interesting. I felt like it was almost like I was watching an updated version of the film Alien, but I like it. So I'm going spoilers, guys, so if you haven't seen Cloverfield Paradox, pause, watch the film, come back if you want anything spoiled. The film has a lot of good cast members. A lot of people that you would recognize. Maybe not people you can name their names, but definitely people you would recognize from other films. The lead in this, Guga Mabala Ra. God, I totally butchered her name. I know I totally butchered her name. But she did a great job. I liked her character in this, mainly because of her personal story with the loss of her kids and having to realize she's in another world where her kids survived, and if she wants to stay in that world as a parent, I can only imagine that's got to be a tough choice, and I like that personal journey they put her on. I loved what they did with time. You had that warning in the beginning that trying to solve the world's energy crisis was going to be, something that could possibly damage the fabric of time and reality. And they did exactly that. They created the monster we see in Cloverfield. Now, in Cloverfield Lane, it looks like there's aliens. Whether they're responsible for that or that's a progression of, from another world, I don't know. I'm sure we'll get to that in later installments of the Cloverfield franchise. But we do know the monster came from them messing with time and space in this film. My favorite part was the arm. The arm of what's his name? I know the actor. Chris Ode, I think is his name. That was probably the funniest part for me at the very end there, when the arm is still trapped and it's just tapping its fingers. That was a good one. I enjoyed it. It's a good sci-fi film. My dad, who's a huge sci-fi guy, I'm definitely going to recommend to him. Was it phenomenal? No. But the character journey we took on, and we see the origin of the Cloverfield monster. All right. And again, I like how it's different from the first two films. If I would recommend the Cloverfield franchise to someone, I'd probably say start with this film. Start with this film, then watch Cloverfield, then watch Cloverfield Lane. Just makes sense to me, kind of like watching The Underworld, Rise of Lycans before you watch Underworld. You can do either or, but, to see the origin of a monster, I think it might be a little better. But anyway, guys, that is it for me today. I know I am running long, so I'm going to say adieu. I got several other trailers I want to talk about. Of course, the Avengers trailer, Jurassic World trailer. I'm going to talk about those probably Thursday might be my next show. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But any event, time for you guys to fire back. Did you watch Cloverfield Paradox? What do you think? I liked it. I didn't love it. Let me know. And then, of course, Solo. Did this trailer get you more excited for the film? Did it give you more doubts? Fire back on the social media account, Gmail. Let me know. You can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram, Slim Dayspring 12. And I'll be back next time, guys, of course, running through the other trailers and hopefully some more news on top of that. So until then, may the force be with us all.